got a full little team, and they look up at me. Big eyes, tiny feet, trusting me. I open the vault and I feel that sting. Why is the only move a cruel kind of win? You say take the prize, but I see the loss. Every extra soul is a cost I won't toss. They follow my hand like it's home, like it's safe. I won't send them back just to gamble their fate. I won't trade them, I won't trade them. I care too much to trade them. I won't break them, I won't break them. Give me something else to make them shine, something kind. Let me build them a place, let me train, let me grow. Let me match them in pairs, let them learn, let them glow. Let me feed what I save, let me heal what I keep. Let me use all this love for something deep. You say one more run could change my night, but I hear their names when you call that fight. So if there's a path I can walk in grace, show me a way I can honor their place. I won't trade them, I won't trade them. I care too much to trade them. I won't break them, I won't break them. Give me something else to make them shine, something kind, something kind. Let me give them roles, let me give them room. Let me turn all this strength into something they can bloom. Not a deathmatch prize, not a losing game, just a future where they still know my name. I won't trade them, I won't trade them. I care too much to trade them. I won't break them, I won't break them. Give me something else to make them shine, something kind. I won't trade them, I won't trade them. Keep my Illuvials alive. I woke up to the refinery glow, feeling my hands still running low. Blueprints stacked on the bench again, every new fix just leads to 10. Walls go up and the hunger grows, another upgrade, another load. I built this place with my own two hands, now it keeps asking me to stand. I'm tired, but I'm still here, counting every scrap I clear. If I keep my head on straight, maybe this will turn to fate. Worth it in the end, worth it in the end. I keep on building, I keep on bending. Worth it in the end, worth it in the end. Every hard day, every slow spend, I tell myself it's worth it in the end. Gather the fuel at the edge of town, drag it back when the sun goes down. Research lines on a cracked up screen, chasing what this whole thing means. I upgrade one, then I need two more. my head on straight. Maybe this will turn to fate. Worth it in the end. Worth it in the end. I keep on building. I keep on bending. Worth it in the end. Worth it in the end. Every hard day, every slow spend, I tell myself it's worth it in the end. Someday I'll stand at the gate and see what all this grind creates. Every short step, every small repair will look like a map when I get there. Worth it in the end. Ooh. Worth it in the end. I keep on building. I keep on bending. Worth it in the end. Worth it in the end. I've come too far to just give in, so I keep on going. I keep believing. Worth it in the end. Worth it in the end. Out in the wild grass, you froze my breath. I saw you move like a living myth. Bright-eyed storm with the blade thin frame. I said your name like I knew that flame. You turned your head, I held my ground. No crowd, no crown, just that heart pound sound. I read your steps, you read mine too. One wrong move and the sky split blue. Then you came in close and you pulled away. I sent my drone on the edge of the fray. Your pulse ran hot, my hand stayed steady. One more hit and the shard was ready. I caught you, I caught you. Now you're mine to run with. I caught you, I caught you. We're alive, we're hunting. You were wild, then you fell. Now we rise together. I caught you, I caught you. Let's go forever. Let's go forever. The wild side flashed with the broken roar. You kept coming back, then you asked for more. My drone spun fast through the dust and spray, while your last wild spark kept fading away. Then the final flash hit clean and white. Your whole shape folded into light. I held my breath when the seal went tight and the whole world cracked into flight. And you came in close and you pulled away. I sent my drone on the edge of the fray. Your pulse ran hot, my hand stayed steady. One more hit and the shard was ready. I caught you, I caught you. Now you're mine to run with. I caught you, I caught you. We're alive, we're hunting. You were wild, then you fell. Now we rise together. I caught you, I caught you. Let's go forever. In my palm, your spark. In the dark, your sign. Every road we take from here will be yours and mine. New maps, new fights, new storms to chase. You and me, no time to waste. I caught you, I caught you. Now you're mine to run with. I caught you, I caught you. We're alive, we're hunting.
All right, it's a new week, but we are right back at it with some more Illuvium. All Illuvium, all the time here on the channel. Welcome to the channel. Good to see everybody nice and quickly here into the chat side of things. Big Man JB, Texan, Awaken, Reem, good to see all of you. So I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're hopefully on board here for what will be a pretty awesome day. A little bit of a challenge run through the playtest as it stands right here, right now. Of course, I very much so enjoy the water style of play, and with that I want to try and see what is the best possible water team that I can build within 2 hours. Now obviously some of these big grinds, like trying to get evolutions, they're going to be tough. For some of the tier 0s, for example, I do have the potential to maybe evolve some, but we'll have to see what we can get. Let's go for today. Let's try and see what we can do, build that best water team, make it as cool as possible. That way on Thursday, we could take it into the dungeons and try to see how fast that water team can clear certain levels of dungeons. That will be the goal here for today. But in regards to getting started, like, I'm not going to use any of the water Illuvials that I already have on my team. In fact, for just catching these Illuvials, I'm going to have to resort to the assistance of an old faithful, so to speak. We have, sure enough, there it is. I have a little baby Lynx. Of course I'm going to have a little baby Lynx joining me here for today. It is going to be the only Illuvial that I'm going to be using. I currently have that one, the only one there. Anything else will be sitting on the bench for now. I'm trying to do this from, essentially from zero. Now, one thing that has been popping up over the last couple of minutes... Oh, it's saying House League. This isn't House League. Let's try it again. There we go. That's a little bit better. Wrong scene. But one thing that's been popping up over the last couple of hours has been a disconnection or a server issue with Immutable themselves. It's not necessarily an Illuvium thing. It is an Immutable thing. So when we're seeing that 401 unauthorized, there's a good chance we get booted out of the game, and God forbid we can't log back in for a bit because of these IMX issues. We'll run it from there. But for the time being, we'll run with it as if it doesn't exist. We'll have to see. To start things off, I mean, the easiest thing to be taking a look at would be, say, some tier 0s. But even the ones that are, like, say, this Nature Grotto here, I don't want to catch this, but what I absolutely want to do is make sure that I clear it for the sake of getting a new spawn in. When I make another run around, I want to make sure it's something a little bit different. This could be our first one here, a little lesser water Doka, going to be our pickup. Should be able to get this nice and quickly, as long as my Lynx doesn't kill it. And this way, we at least get something onto the team. There we go. We've at least got the Doka. That was not... Yeah, not my level 39 variants. There it is, the level 6 variant. There we go. I'm just going to keep clearing everything as best as I can. If we get lucky and we happen to get, say, 3 of the lesser water Dokas, maybe at the end of stream I could look at to possibly doing a fusion, if it does allow me. Now, over in the corner, I have gotten lucky before with a Riptor. We're not going to get a Riptor, but I'll gladly take a Flish. Let's start again, another tier 0. Get that on board. 2 in a row. Perfect, we'll take that. Gonna take a peek at this section over here. This is, of course, where in our very first opportunity, or our very first playthrough, we did get our polar bear here. That was pretty cool. So I'm curious as to what else could possibly be here. It's going to be a Nature Grotto, so we'll kill that off as quick as we can. I gotta stop doing that versus Grottos. The stuns always catch me off guard still, even after all this time. in regards to the build that I'm using here for today, this is about as close as I think I'm going to get to a Steam build, if that makes sense. I tried to make a AoE dungeon clearing build, basically, with a bunch of the AoE abilities. This would be better if it was Scion, to be honest with you, but I can still make it work pretty decently here with the fighter. The only thing is I have to really make sure that I put myself directly into the middle of everything. Let's see, what do we got up here? Is this a Tipo? That's a nature Tipo, so we'll clear that quickly. Like, say, every single time I use my third ability where it does the dash, I always zip right out of range of the fire ring. It's only kind of using that as a last resort. Gonna check on the other side of this cave. There has been times when we found Slappin' right on the other end of it. So I want to take a peek there. Just gonna dive on through, though. My Lynx is essentially pulling everything, apparently, so I'll hide it in while we run through. Of course, the one thing with all the enemies currently in Obelisk Rising, they don't actually, like, cause you to stutter or fall or get stunned or anything along those lines. Oops, let's not do that. So you can just straight up run through pretty well everything and be completely fine. That's a lesser Earth Doka. Let's see, get the links out. Let's burn. Yeah, this way it's a nice mixture of damage and heals, but the one thing I didn't do, I didn't reset my talents going into this fight. So I am still technically at value 1 of all of my abilities. So if I die, you know why. Yeah, unfortunate error. When I have an opportunity to find a safe space, I'll go reset. Unfortunately, is a common and a known bug as of this moment, so I'm sure it shall be worked on. Of course, with any of our footage here today, this is all going to be pre-test or pre-alpha playtest footage. And with that, there is absolutely going to be room for bugs and errors. So please do keep that in mind as we play here today. So I max out the heal, I max out the AoE, and then I would love to throw in the Infernal Beam onto this build as well, another AoE ability. However, I don't have enough actual ability slots. I can only have the 5, so instead I just put 1 point into this middle one, the Pyropotency, just to make it so that there is a chance that my weapon can burn, but instead I just dump it all into fire here. That's kind of my Steam build, if you will. Now, I know this isn't a water alluvial, but I do want to go over there and try my hand at potentially getting an ace. Just because I would love to be able to evolve into Artes, potentially, sometime down the road here. We'll clear out the Valente to free up a spawn point. Heal up, let's get the tier 2 shard ready. And we'll go after that ace in a second, just for the sake of progression. And if we happen to kill it, we free up the space again. Doing pretty well, Billionaire. Good to see ya. New earbuds? Yes, finally. I finally got fed up with only being able to hear out of one ear. For this entire time that I've been streaming, I've had one earbud that doesn't actually play any audio. So I'm happy to be able to finally get that. As I'm also very happy to be able to finally get this ace. That's going to be my second one here. One more and I could start thinking about fusion, but I swear, of course, fusions are an absolute grind and a half, especially for tier 3 and above. So I'm going to be a little bit nervous about that, but at least we'll have the Illuvials necessary to get it done. But I'd always throw 2 earbuds in at the exact same time, because I'd always be a little either self-conscious or find it weird if I had just the one earbud in on one side but not on the other. But yeah, that's funny you noticed. Yeah, so not only is my computer a potato, some of the equipment I use can be a little bit of a potato as well, but we make do with what we got. Gonna clear this Doka. Get in here, Lynx. Okay, there we are. Let's switch back to my original shards. I did a good amount of grinding over the last 2 days. I want to, as always, make sure that none of my time on stream here with you guys is wasted just farming resources. Unless, like, the stream specifically says that ahead of time. If I'm here for a challenge or something, I don't want to spend time in that challenge farming. So I got all the way up to 300 of the tier 0 shards, about 142 tier 1s, and 2 of the, or not 2, I have 24 of the tier 2s. That took a while. Yeah, 300 plus shards. I wanted to make sure, again, that as a part of the stream, you never have to sit through me farming, unless I just make a stream sometime where it's literally just labeled farm and chill. That way you know exactly what you're getting into. If that ends up being the stream idea, then okay, by all means, but for something like what we're doing today, not going to be the case. Quickly heal up here. Yeah, as a part of this Steam build, just a lot of AoE is the idea, and then being able to drop a heal. If I wasn't supportive, or support focused, I would instead probably throw in the other Infernal Beam. But because I do like a heal, and I know if I'm going to try and solo a dungeon, I will need to drop a heal every once in a while. For not just myself, but my Illuvial. A little bit of missing out on a bit of damage is absolutely worth it. Get in here, Lynx. I don't know what it is about my beloved little baby Lynx, but it likes to sit and watch the fight instead of actually partaking in it sometimes. Needs a little bit of an extra invitation. That's too much mining. I definitely agree. Now, sometimes there's an Illuvial that spawns here, but it is not going to be here, so I'm going to jump down instead to this one on top of the platform. Just a lesser air flish, so we'll kill it off. If it's not water, or somewhat rare, we'll pass on it. We do get an air gem fragment, that's quite nice. You need to get a bunch of those for your evolutions, or your fusions. Our lesser water Atipo, we can bring that into the squad. Hey, where'd you go? There was an Atipo here. Take a look up here, because sometimes things spawn here as well. Looks like there's just a Doka instead. Is it normal in MMOs to have 0 fall damage? It depends. Some games I'd like to be maybe a little bit more realistic will have fall damage, but I've seen a handful where they don't, so it's not completely out of left field, so to speak. Sometimes things are here, not going to be here this time. How about in the middle of the ice pit? What do we've got there? Is that a water Valente by chance? It is, and a pretty powerful one at that. Let's pick this one up if we can. Okay, checking for my Lynx's Omega. It does not seem ready, so we can bring it down to 53. The Lynx, of course, exact same like you would see in the arena, so it's got that big old burst damage whenever it pops its Omega. I'm watching for it. 1, 2. It wasn't that bad that time, so we'll let it go. Let's do its thing. Can we get the catch? Okay, another tier 0 added. The Valente added on to the team. Now that Flish, I can't remember. Did we catch this Flish from today? I believe we did, so let's bring it in. By all means, call me out if that wasn't from today. There is the mule, but we're going to let you be for this time, Mr. Polar Bear. Not looking for you, but I should actually maybe take it down. It'd still be good experience, actually. Do we send one extra shard just for the heck of it? Here, one baby shard. Just to say we did. There's no chance, right? Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, let's take you out. Not what I'm looking for here today. And for whatever reason, of the tier 4s, the polar bears seem to be here in abundance. Yeah, how Big Man JB's made a point of it as well. There are certain titles out there for the fall damage side of things where they'll make it so that it hurts but doesn't actually kill you. So like a Destiny 2 model. Definitely one way that it can be done. Now, over in the corner, if that's another lesser water Valente, we can add that on for potential fusion. Let's get that. Do that right before the Omega. There we go. Now, Lynx has it set up for the next one if need be. We're going to get it anyway. So what I'll probably end up doing is just trying to keep the best of the Valentes. Or actually, I don't even have to do it that way, because, of course, by fusion or by doing the evolution in Obelisk Rising, it's the exact same way that we would remember it from Overworld. So you're essentially just kind of smashing 3 of the same Illuvials together to hopefully be able to get the stats you want from each. As we find another relatively rare find, the Ace is going to join us once again. Let's load up a tier 2 shard. This would be Ace number 3 if we can lock this down. 16% chance. Let's get the heal out as well. We're not going to get it the first time. I know this isn't a water, but this one's for me. I would love to have an Arctes. And I'd have all the Illuvials that I would need. It would just be a matter of finding shards for it and crafting those. Oh god, yeah, of course. That Pyro Field's absolutely devastating. We'll try one more time. If it doesn't work, it'll end up being a kill. See if maybe I can get a tier 3 shard. We'll end up taking that one down. Over here, Earth Flish, let's clear it out. Now, if I was playing this in, say, like not the public realm, but if the game was released and I was trying to do this, I wouldn't worry about going around and killing every single mob, because in theory, somebody else would, right? So I can just keep running. But since this is the playtest, it's much smaller. The only way I know for sure that something will come out differently is if I actually kill it. We've gotten a couple of the tier 0s so far. It's a good start. I'm going to do maybe a lap or two around Taiga Boreal, especially since I know Penguin is around here. Riptor can spawn in this region. But I do want to take a trip over to Brightland Steppes as well, because I've seen a handful of the Axolotl line in evolution stages. So like an Axon or an Axodon. I've seen them both in Brightland Steppes. I do want to go there. And then in theory, if we're talking about water alluvials, it'd be silly for me to not make a stop at Abyssal Basin, but there's 2 problems, at least for me personally. I don't have enough, or a good enough PC to run that game, or not run that game, but to run that region very cleanly. I do get a lot of lag when I play there. And then in terms of water alluvials, I honestly have not seen any major standouts. If anything, I find a lot more nature units there. For water units, it's been a nice mixture between Taiga and Brightlands. Did I level up enough to get the glide? Yes, I did. I didn't realize that was a level up thing, but I do have it. Speaking of which, little Rye going to be coming on through this time. burn it down for the time being, see if we can get a tier 1 fire shard. I did not see which level it happened at. To be honest with you, I thought it was something that I was just not utilizing this entire time. Pause to heal. We'll go back to where we found the slap in before. And then make a run back through the cave to where I found the Riptor before. You're 29 and still don't have it. I imagine it's probably around, say, 30 then. So you're pretty much right on the dot. This is a holo. We actually see the holo flish immediately. Grab that for the sake of style points. Clear out the mobs first. Now we dive it. %50 chance to snag a holo to the squad. We'll gladly accept the shiny. But it's not going to happen yet. Oh, the Lynx and I nearly burst that thing down. That would have been bad. Gonna be stubborn. There we go. So there it is. Holo Flish will be added to the team. Caught a holo Revo earlier and it ended up not being holo when you actually went to use it. That's annoying. Now it's just an air flish. I'm not going to jump back down. I'm going to go through the cave this time instead. Then go back towards that starter area. See what we can find there. I mean, in a best case scenario, of course, with this being a water-based team, I would end up getting an axolotl of some sort, maybe an evolved one. But of course, I've been notorious for killing the damn axolotls, even though I'm trying to actually catch them. Of course, having an Axodon in my first playthrough right there in front of me, and I just ended up one-shotting the thing. That was kind of heartbreaking. Sometimes Illuvials show up here. It is going to be the Nature Valente, so we're just going to kill it off nice and quick. Caribou would be a nice addition. There we go. Because these are lower level, I'm actually going to have my Lynx sit out. So no excuse if I kill this thing. There we go. Is that a holo Caribou at that? We'll see. Another water alluvial, our first of the tier 1 variety. There we go, and it is holo at that. Perfect. Let's go. Holo Caribou added to the team. JB still hasn't been able to catch the axolotl. Considering how much you like those things, I imagine that must be a massive thorn in the side. Lesser water Grocko. There could be an additional tank here. I accidentally used a tier 1 shard. That's a little bit annoying, but we will lock this down, I imagine. So an additional tank to the team here. What do we got over here? That Flish again. This would secure the evolution potentially. One more chop, and take them. Of course, I'm going rather slow just because these are low-level alluvials. I don't want to completely chop them down. Valente. 2, 3, 4, go. Potentially a greater water Valente around the corner, but at the same time, I probably don't have enough shards to do that. I have to take whatever of the tier 0s would be my favorite or the highest level. and probably make that the standalone evolution. I don't want to evolve anything until the very end, though, just in case we happen to find a greater version of something out in the wild. Okay, there's our second Grocko. That is a mule, so yet another tier 4 and yet another polar bear. We'll do one for the lulz. I know it's only a... Oh, never mind, I just killed it. I was gonna say, we'll throw one maybe for the 1% chance, but no, we're not gonna do that whatsoever. Kill this one off. Check over here, then make another lap back around through the creek. And then we'll look to eventually transition over to Brightland Steps, where the levels get a little bit bigger. And I'd argue the chance of maybe finding some of these evolutions are a little bit better. The one thing that has me paranoid, you'll see in the right corner every once in a while, it says 401 not authorized. And of course, that was the server issue I was describing a little bit earlier. But I'm curious if changing regions will cause me a problem. So I might stick here a little bit longer than I was originally expecting. Because the last time that happened, I eventually got kicked out of the game for over 45 minutes, and considering we're midstream, I'd really rather not get kicked out of the game. Of course, there's a dungeon down that way. We'll be taking this water team into the dungeon on Thursday. I'd love to see how far we can push the squad that we caught together here. Let's see, any Illuvials? We do have Riptor! There we go, that's a rare find. Gonna have to swarm down here, though. And that's why we build the AoE build, to just completely cleave on through. I don't have tier 3 shards, instead I have tier 2. I'm gonna try a couple tier 2s if I can. 16% chance to land this thing, let's get a heal while it's out. This would be an awesome pickup. I only caught the one on my original playthrough. Would love to have one right now. I can barely even see the sucker. Almost killed it. But still just a 16% chance. We do get the Riptor. That one's coming on immediately. So the 1-for-1 trade. The Doka with the Riptor. Now, optimally, we find a penguin before we leave. That would be huge. Anybody spawned here yet? Nope, not quite. Doka. Mashing a little bit too much there. There we go. What do we got over here? That is a lesser water Grocko. Did I need one more for potential fusion? I mean, in theory, but at the same time, I got Caribou already. Did it? Wingsuit, if you're referring to this thing... See if I can use it here. I do have it, I just gotta stop mashing. But yes, I do have the gliding ability. Give the Flish the bonk. And move forward. We've got Water Doka. While this one has been replaced, I do want to have the chance for another shard. So I'm going to quickly take this Doka. Then over here, Nature Valente. And we'll do one more lap around. If I stop seeing the 401 errors, then we'll switch regions. It's been decent for the last couple of minutes, so maybe I'm lucky. But one thing that would also be really, really annoying is if all of this progress that I'm doing right now actually just gets canceled out because this error kept popping up. So a little nervous, but we'll roll with it no matter what. My very first playthrough, very first stream, there was an Atlas up here, so I like to keep a look and keep tabs. Just double check, because sometimes we can get lucky. It's not going to be Atlas, but it will be Archie. We will take this one down. I did see the 401 issue once again, so I'm a little bit more content at staying on Taiga for another round. Don't mind me, big guy, just running by. Yo. Turn right to check for Penguin. We've got an Atipo up here now. Is this a water Atipo by chance? It is. Riptor, you want to come play? There we go. Get in there. Help me with this one, why don't we? This would be, what, my second Atipo? Looks like first, actually. So try to gather this one up. It's going to be a stubborn one, aren't ya? That's crazy. Now, while Atipos might be more so known, there we go, as we were going to get it. When we think about Arena, it's more as a support more than anything. They are actually a pretty solid tank so far in what we've been doing with Obelisk Rising. It being able to shield itself and then do an AoE heal has been very, very helpful. So it's not an Illuvial I want to blow off by any means. Hero Blue probably takes its spot for the time being, but you never know. Could maybe find a use still. Clean up the Beyblades. Clean up the Fleesh. Slide down this way. Another Atipo. We'll just kill it off. Get in there, Riptor. Riptor, you're drunk. Come on. He's just lounging here today, apparently. Are you going to get into the fight here, little buddy? This would go a lot faster if you did. Oh, that's a neat little interaction I didn't realize you could do. While you're casting your heal, you can still pop your fire AoE. So there is no accidentally canceling or anything along those lines. You can just use both at once. Intended, I'm not sure. But is it cool? I think so. We'll check the minefield up here. Usually 2 alluvial spawns. What's over there? Is that a hollow Chuko? It looks hollow to me. Maybe we make a shot at it for the sake of the hollowness. Get a tier 1 shard ready. But a 40% chance to snag that. We are going to be able to pick it up. We'll check if it's hollow in just a second. Okay, Riptor, ignore that one. That is a hollow. So we found 3 hollows so far within what? Like 30 minutes? Not bad if I do say so myself. Slide down, look for alluvials. Rocco, what are you over here? Valente. Take you out real fast. One thing to note, Valente does not actually silence, otherwise my heal would have been stopped in that moment. Alright, clean that up. To the next area, there's something down here. The Tipo, looks like? Yep. Riptor's already gotten a level since the last time we've checked. But I guess this method that I'm doing right now, not just for catching alluvials in general, but maybe just for your shiny hunters out there. Maybe this isn't a bad idea either. I don't know how it'll end up being on the live game, since of course there is likely going to be more people kind of contesting you in certain areas. But this might be an idea of, I guess, how you could shiny hunt. Check the spawn over here. Another Flish. We've got that already. I'll ignore it for now. This is a lesser water Tipo. Decent level onto this fella, so let's go for it. And then after this, we'll make our way back towards the beginning. And we'll try to switch over to Brightland and see if it lets us. If it crashes, then unfortunate. I'd love to have a better shot at maybe some of these axolotls. That's our second Tipo. One more and we could potentially fuse. No mule here this time. No alluvial, just an air Flish. Okay, we'll bypass it. Riptor already up to 22. That's perfect. We'll come back to this area in a little bit off stream. This is one of my favorite early game grind areas. From say like level 10 to about level 25 maybe, or early 20s maybe. It's probably one of my go-tos. Okay, there's sometimes 2 alluvials that spawn up here. Nothing on the ledge, but how about over here? That's a Kuka. That's not water, but this would be the first one I've caught, so I'm going to go after it anyway. Assuming I don't accidentally kill this thing. I'm almost stunned up. Let's see, 30% chance. Get a little bit more damage onto it. There we go. Clear out the mobs. Let's get a heal. There, while I'm stunned. Apparently while I'm stunned, I can still take the shard out and still use it. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, so while I'm stunned, I might as well just throw it. There's nothing else I can do right now anyway. As Kuka's really being a little bugger. This one's going to be the charm. There we go. My first Kuka in every playthrough. Gladly accept that one. And then we'll make our way around back towards the Obelisk. Now, one thing that's been driving me crazy in my entire time of playing the playthrough or playing the pretest, I found like the entire Elk line, so that entire tier 5 line. But I cannot, for the life of me, find the Pistol Shrimp. I can't find Alfie, Sinelf, Dualef. Cannot find any of them yet. I have no idea where they'd be. Like, I know in Brightland Steps, there's a few places that do kind of feel like Ador nests. I've not heard or seen anything about the Pistol Shrimp line. Is this our third water Tipo? It is our third water Tipo, so this could potentially be an evolution as long as we lock it down. Let's get the right shard out. I immediately blow that thing up. That was a bit of a mistake. Thankfully, it was a tier 0. Otherwise, I'd be very sad. But take a shot. There's the first one that I've killed. Brocco, we've got your replacement already. I thought the Bulkler was a Illuvial. Not quite. Alright. Take a look at these last couple of Illuvials around here. See if we can find anything cool. Is that another mule? It is, in fact. So we'll do the 1-4 glory shot, then we'll just kill it off and try and grab a shard. Yeah, firing off just to say we did. It's a 1% chance. Would be pretty crazy, though, but no. Let's just kill it then. This one doesn't want to join. I am completely content knocking it out. Would love to be able to get a tier 4 air gem. But not going to happen just yet. That's a Doka. That was an Atlas, actually. There we go. Here, Riptor, I don't want you to kill this thing. I mean, in my hands, it's not much better, but let's try. Can I actually catch one of these things on stream? I kill them all of the time. 40% chance. I'm just going to fire it off here. Can we finally? Nope, not yet. One more auto. 43% chance maybe if we're lucky. Come on, Atlas. I actually want to have one of you on my team, and we will finally break the streak. We're going to have ourselves an Atlas. Okay, so with that on the team, in theory, my whole water team is complete, but of course I'd love to be able to get something stronger. And we're going to look to Abyssal Basin for that. But at least no matter what, we did complete having a team. Just a matter of finding something new, and there we are. That's what I was worried about. We do actually get the crash message. So is any of my progress actually even saved right now? I have no idea. I don't see any word from the Discord as to whether or not it's actually working or not, so you know what, for the time being, we're here. Might as well keep doing laps. If I get word that it is safe to relog and try to get into game. In fact, I'll ask the team right now. Yeah. If it's safe to relog, then we'll make the switch up. But for the time being, We'll keep going in this area. Not gonna make you wait. Or lesser. It is kind of funny that certain abilities are allowed to be used through the Graco stun, but then some just aren't. Let's see, Atlas I very well could find a replacement for if I happen to catch an evolution. Riptor, the likelihood of finding a Riptorus is probably highly unlikely. So maybe put some levels into this guy first. Bracos are so tanky. We'll check back over here. Okay, nobody's said anything in regards to the servers being safe yet, so I'm not going to try to relog just yet. It started happening essentially right as the stream was starting. And the last one took about an hour to fix. Over here. Anybody home? There is something over there. Another Nature Valente. Clear you out. But at the very least today, at least I finally broke the streak of killing every single axolotl I've seen. That's a small victory in its own right. What do we got up here? Another Valente. I look forward to Thursday trying this out, or this build and with these Illuvials in a dungeon setting as well. With this being a heavy AoE build, I wonder just how much can I cleave through. Is this another Atlas? It is actually, and way higher level than the one I have. This would be very, very nice. Get in there, Riptor. Riptor should have their Omega. I'm going to pop the shard right as their Omega's going off. I do not want to risk killing this thing off, and there we go. We've got a better Atlas this time by. Gorgeous. Level 18 onto that fella. We'll make that switch. Yeah, you're 18 compared to the 9. We'll make that swap 100%. Yeah, nobody in the Discord saying anything, so we'll just keep going. Give it about another 20 minutes or so, and then if we're still getting this error, we'll think about it again. Apologies for constantly bringing it up, it just does have me very, very anxious. So I know personally, I'd be very sad if all of this progress that we're doing right now ends up actually not staying, if that makes sense. I mean, playtest is playtest. As always, this is, again, pre-alpha footage, so there will be bugs and issues similar to what we're seeing with the error codes. Earth Grocko, you take too long to kill. I'm just gonna move forward past you. No Jokul today. Sometimes they spawn here. There's another Grocko. And another Grocko. Here, this one I at least have type advantage. Riptor, go get him. And then while I'm stunned, I'll just pop a heal. Tried to get out there in time. There we go. Shard, please. Or we do get the fragment. That's what I'm looking for. There you go. Get in here. Get healed, big guy. There we are. Okay, down here, is that a Chuko again? It is. We'll let him go, though. Go through this area one final time. Yeah, Flish, we're good. Water Grocko. Just checking to see if that's a greater by chance. It is a lesser. No bear. Just a Fleesh again. Is it lesser? Lesser again. I don't normally see things spawn down here, but that is, what, a Doka? Looks like a Doka again. Around the corner, it's another Flish. Okay, Grocko once again, and that's it. I've gotten this before, right? It was already collected. Okay. I can never remember which one of those echo points have I actually collected or not. And considering that's how you actually level up your affinity side of your skills, because you don't necessarily get class and affinity points every time you level up your character. You gotta do a little bit of exploring. I can never remember which ones I've done already. Alright, one more peek to try and see if we can get lucky and find a penguin. There should be a way to mark the ones that you find. I completely agree. It would be nice if they showed up on your mini-map or something along those lines. Just showed as collected. Or at least let us make our own marker on the map. Because I know that is something that you can do. Like, you can place your own marker. But it doesn't actually stay. Okay, just a Doka. It's a pretty good Doka, but we've got a Riptor. So I'm not going to flood with two fighters on the team. Two tanks I don't mind because they both have their own purposes. One's kind of a DPS tank and one's more of a survival tank. So I feel like water... Like, if I'm doing dungeons, because if we remember back in the Obelisk Rising dev talk, and how they wanted the esports or the competition side of Obelisk Rising to be either clearing of levels, like trying to do the infinite scaling and making it as far as you can, or potentially do the speedrunning side. You probably want something that stacks a lot of AoE, and I feel like this water team would be perfect for this. Kirito, good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. The servers are really being nice to us today. Seems like an IMX issue, though, unfortunately, yeah. And then you're logged in now, though. Okay, maybe I'll give it a try here in a second. Yeah, hopefully our progress sticks. If it doesn't, it's okay. We'll just reboot from Brightland Steps. So I'd like to hop over there, just unfortunately I'm getting error after error right now. And then just a Valente, so nothing too crazy. We'll hop over to the Obelisk and we'll take a brief breather here. Spent about an hour in Taiga. And we'll make the switch over. But before I try to log out, we will keep track of progress. What did we do in this first hour? So, handful of water alluvials, 3 hollows first and foremost. That's kind of cool, including the Chuko, the Caribou, as well as the lesser water Flish. The Flish was pretty good on levels. Riptor's getting up there as well. A nice tier 3 find, our rarest alluvial of the bunch so far. And we got the 2 water tanks here, the Atlas, the Caribou. Gotta level them up, of course, but at least we have them. Now let's see if we can actually teleport. It's not gonna let me. So we'll quickly hop on over here. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'm just gonna try and go back to menu and go back in and see if it works. And it is going to force me to relog. Okay, let's hope this works. Is there an upcoming playtest patch? Not that I'm aware of, but at the same time, they are changing things rather quickly. There should be a big patch coming this week. That sounds epic. Glad to hear that. I know they've taken a ton of feedback since we've started. Okay. It did let me right back in the second time around. Okay, let's try this. Does have me in Taiga Boreal so far. Let's see. Okay, that scared me so bad for a second. I saw my Lynx was the only thing in my party. I'm like, there's no chance that it reset everything. But no, the gang is here. There's Riptor. We have the 18 Atlas. The Hollow Caribou. We have our Greater, or not our Greater, could potentially be a Greater Water Valente. Level 25, go ahead there, buddy. And then last but not least, it was our Hollow Fleesh that rounded up the team. Let's see, can we switch over to Brightland? We can, sweet. Now, don't know Brightland anywhere near as well as I do Taiga. Ready for Crimson Waste. That would be very cool. I know that's the one region that unfortunately got taken out of the game. And as much as I hated traversing it, I do miss it. Would be cool to see it sometime. An Exalted Water Doga. Okay, this one is getting a tier 1 shard. This is the first Exalted tier 0 I think I've seen. This is no guarantee though, and I did not actually proc my... Dance, 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 and go! Alright, Atlas, hold the line for me for a second. My alluvials are very under-leveled for this area, though, so this is going to be a little bit painful. If they survive, though, it will be some great EXP going their way. Darkstar, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And shout out to you, you're the first one that signed up for House League this week. Awesome to see, which a reminder again to everyone, House League registration is open. Had an awesome week last week. Would love to have you back once again. And look at this, even with the tier 1 shard, this catch chance is very low because of the level, or not the level, but the evolution stage of this Illuvial. It's basically like trying to chase a tier 3. Come on, I'd love to get a fully evolved. We've not gotten any fully evolves yet. 20% chance. You got an Archos? Hell yeah, Kirito. Nicely done. One final burst of damage here. Trying to see the timer. It'll be an 18%. We either get it or we lose it. We will lose it. Damn. Well, at least we didn't just get killed off because of missing skill damage. Thankfully, I was able to dance around long enough. Damn, that would have been cool. I know it's a tier 0, but again, fully evolved. And Riptor still would have been fancier and cooler, and I like Riptor more, to be honest with you, but again, fully evolved. Maybe I then have a case of trying to do two fighters. What are you? That, oh, if only. It's the one thing, unfortunately, as beautiful as that Atlas is, anything above level 39 you can't catch. It'll glitch out. So that Atlas, we're gonna probably try and take it down just for the sake of a tier 1 shard. But even still, the thing's level 41. That's gonna be a super tanky one. Here, let me switch my abilities rounds. There we go. Let's see if we can actually take this thing in a fight, though. Probably gonna need to pop my heal essentially on cooldown, because I am barely doing any damage to this thing. I might just have to proc it into the halfway point and then just run. Yeah, let's get it to half and then run. I wish I could just leave it be and then something new comes out, but this spawn, I think, will stay here the entire time until somebody either tries to catch it or kill it. I mean, good on my Atlas. Look at this thing go. It's holding the line rather nicely. I'm finally going to get out of dodge here, so we're going to 100% die. But at least I can reset the spawn. And that's what I was worried about with this area. I might find some fantastic upgrades, but can I actually use them? Or am I just going to be timed out by the level? I mean, leveling up my own Atlas will not take long. Alright, up on the hilltops here, what do we got? Is this another Atlas, potentially? Level 51. Okay, that's insane. I'm not even going to try. Now, I need to take a peek. I believe it's just down here where I found the Adorius one time. And I have to take a peek and see what's here now. Atlas, coming up, buddy. It is an Ador, actually. But again, 48. I can't do anything about it. So I'm going to have to just let it be. Oh, I wish. Oh, have I not collected this on this playthrough? Now I have. Let's see. Just zoom on down. I think going towards the north is a little bit of a lower level area. If I'm lucky, maybe we can find some. Hi, Kirito! There's an Ador way to the west if you want a shot at getting it. I forgot to sign up for House League. Sometimes it feels like we're regulars, so you don't have to... I mean, it is pretty loose, right? Like, if anyone just wanted to message me at the last couple of moments, they can. I recommend that you don't, because I would absolutely love to be able to schedule lobbies appropriately. But it can be done if need be. Now, someone said something here. Big Man was killing level 50s earlier as a level 28 because of the spamming of the last water ability. Yeah, as long as you pop this thing on cooldown and you have it maxed, you can survive a lot, to say the least. Now, level 25 here onto this Atlas. This would be an upgrade. So I'll try one more time. This would be my third as well, so we could potentially fuse. And we will grab it. There we go. I mean, I'm probably just going to replace this Atlas here in a second. I know it's only a couple level difference, but I can't see TPI or the bonus stats right now. So level is all I have to go by. That is Lesser Water Doka. Very, very strong one at that. Riptor, come play. But again, I will just leave the lesser for the shard, or for the gem chance. And then look to knock this thing out. Do we get it? We do get the gem this time. Perfect. Can we progress the world for free, or do we need to spend fuel? So this is the beautiful thing for what Obelisk Rising is trying to do, because without question, the old way Overworld was, where you had to spend fuel to even get into the zone in the first place, sucked. That was very, very off-putting, to the point where even I, who was a diehard fan, you can say, would probably only went on one stage 3 run in my life, because that was a lot of investment just to get into the zone. Thankfully, for Obelisk Rising, I believe the game plan is to treat this as a monthly subscription, at least last I heard from the dev chat from a little bit ago, was that this is meant to be a monthly subscription that you can travel from region to region, doing the storylines, doing the raids, doing all that with no extra cost. It's just going to be the flat fee, just like you would a Final Fantasy XIV or a World of Warcraft, or something along those lines, like a traditional MMO. So there is no longer going to be that barrier to even getting into the game in the first place by the, or by per round or something along those lines. Yes, you do have that subscription to deal with, but at least it's not like $10 for a stage 3 run or something like that. So it was so expensive. 100%. Now, of course, it's been a little bit since I've heard any update. Like I was saying before, the last time I heard of anything along those lines, it was in the MMO-focused dev talk. So, like, the amount of money per month or anything along those lines, I am not 100% sure of, but I do remember one of the quotes that Perry said was that if we couldn't sell you a subscription to an MMO for the price of a coffee, then we're doing something wrong. So I can't see it being that expensive. But again, I have no idea. Things can absolutely change. Forti Rota. Gonna ignore that one, just go down this way. Not a steep enough hill that I can just zip down it, unfortunately. You remember those exact words? That's good. It means I'm not making it up. Thankfully. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are definitely talked about as well. Like, I remember with our conversation I was being had a couple of days ago, at least in regards to, like, the big hurdle that is the shards, right? Like, actually being able to capture these shards. Or not capture the shards, but to be able to craft them or gather them. How mining is just so overpowered right now, because you need mining not just for the ores, but for basically everything in the game, and it's a little bit overwhelming, considering it's meant to be a profession, and professions in most MMOs are meant to be like a bonus addition to those that really like grinding. It would be like in a current system right now, I'm trying to think of a Pokemon equivalent. But, like, imagine if the only way that you can get Pokeballs was to breed Pokemon or something like that. Like a system that does not require you to truly, or it shouldn't require you, rather, to use it, if that makes sense. I'm about to die, ain't I? Oh yeah, we dead as hell. That was a tough Doka. Yeah, if we're talking about a Starbucks coffee, then yeah, it could be like 20 bucks and you'd be right on brand. No, I'm just kidding. But I know Starbucks coffees can definitely be up there. Thankfully, all my coffees have been not homemade, but like out of the grocery store for the last little while. I am a bad Canadian. I do not go to Tim Hortons. Cannot stand that. Okay, so we bit off a little bit more than we could chew in the western side. I'm not going to go there. Oh, there's the skating arch. The skating archos. Whee! That's pretty sick, Kirito. Hey, congrats on the catch, though. But yeah, we bit off a little bit more than we could chew going towards the west. The west tends to be very laggy. So I think I'm going to go down towards the southern side, then make my way back up here. Oh, hi, Sodan. Beautiful catch, Kirito. Italians love their coffee made at home. Got those habits too? Hell yeah, there you go. Alright, a little bit of night travel. We go into this one. I remember the Axodon. It was right around here that we found it before, when I killed it. Can we get lucky and maybe find it again? I've gotten a handful of Atlases, but being able to catch a fully evolved one would be amazing. But I don't think it's going to be there. A Greater Fire Valente. It's a nice pickup, but it's not on brand for what we're trying to do today. How about you appear Lesser Fire Valente? I'll peek up the hill just a second. Is that more fire? More fire. Bacon is trying to lead me to the dark side, apparently. And that was the Valente. Okay. Let's go up the hill. See if we can get lucky. Let's get it set up for Riptor to be the one who fights. Here. Can we just kill this fish? It should be squishy. Lots of fire so far here in Brightland Steppe, so whenever I do this challenge, but make it the fire version, remind me to come here. Apparently it's pretty good. There we go. Level 24 onto Riptor. Good to see. Leveling up pretty quickly there, buddy. Oh, we're not even trying to grind. Greater Fireflish. Again, I wish. Is Abyssal Basin really what we're going to have to do? Because what it seems like right now is I'm finding a bunch of fire at very, very strong levels. There's Bacon. Good to see you, buddy. Bacon and Kirito both here. Yeah, I'm just looking for gems at this point here, and we do actually pick one up there. Perfect. One fire gem. Love to team up again some other time, but I have a mission right now that I'll be trying to take care of. Oh, is that an Illuvial? There is one over there. What do we got here? Some more fire? Yeah, more fire. Just fire flishes. Does anything spawn in this cave? I know this is like a level 50 area, so I'm going to pull my Riptor. But I want to take a peek and see if there's any Illuvials in here. It's a very beautiful area. It's very, like, Crystal Shores-esque. And it's a very solid mining spot. As long as you can deal with all the high-level mobs. I do not see any Illuvial spawn points. So we'll make our way back out of here. We'll look towards the east one more time. And then, even though I might not like the region as it stands right now, I'm having a hunch that if I'm looking for maybe some higher level stuff, that I might have to go to Abyssal Basin. Very quiet area. It'd be the perfect area for like a mini boss, so to speak, right? What did I just run into? Oh. So apparently I did something to time myself out. Huh, water break. We'll pause for a second. Perfect time maybe to hop over to Basin. So yeah, don't even know what I did to trigger that one. Sometimes it can be due to something that you did. Like, there used to be a pretty consistent bug. It was a funny one, oddly enough. When in my old playthrough, my first playthrough, when I had my Archie, if you pulled an Archie out of battle as it was mid-Omega, it would crash your game just like I crashed my green screen, just like that. Then it would knock you out in very, very similar fashion. There we go. And there's usually a little bit of a pause period before you can get back in. Oh yeah, I broke it. It's a big old crash. I'm gonna have to start this one up from scratch. But again, as I'm loading up here for some more Obelisk Rising, assuming the servers will allow me. Just note, this is not the only stream, of course, happening this weekend. We will be, or not this weekend, this week. we will be doing a ton of streams, of course. This is only the first of 5 streams happening this week. We're going to hop back into Illuvium Arena on Tuesday. Looking forward to playing that. I have a team that I've been practicing the last couple of days. A little bit more defensive in nature, but I don't think I've seen anybody else like truly do it. I don't want to say that and claim that I made it, but we'll see. I'm going to try and show it off on Tuesday. We'll go over all the news on Wednesday, including the latest patch, the breakdown, and the after effects now that that balance patch has come through. Thursday, we'll be back in Obelisk Rising. Of course, this water team that I'm making right now, we're going to take this team and try to speedrun dungeons with this, like, Mythic Dungeon Invitational style. So like what you would see in the PvE World of Warcraft esports side of things. We're going to try and do that in Obelisk Rising, assuming everything works a-okay. Of course, with this being pre-alpha, there could always be changes happening at a moment's notice. Heck, there could be straight-up account resets, if need be. But if all things go my way, we'll take this team and we'll get it into the dungeons on Thursday. And then, of course, on Friday, we will be back with Illuvium Arena House League. Looking forward to seeing all of you in action, as always. JB's jumping on now. There we go. Good to see him. Bit of a music switch up here while I have the chance for a breather. There we go. Oh, it straight up has me all the way back here still. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully I don't get hit, because if I do, I am probably dead. Alright, yeah, we're all the way back still here in the Crystal Shores area. Or what feels like Crystal Shores. Here. We'll switch to Abyssal Basin. This was probably my most played region back when Overworld was a thing. Absolute loved it here, but the thing that I loved about it the most was just how easy it was to traverse. There was those big mushrooms before that you can bounce off of like a trampoline. I really enjoyed those back in the day. I don't think those are currently in the game as it stands right now. But it's still a relatively easy to traverse area. See, my camera's still flaking out a little bit on me. There we go. Let's be good and do our reset on skills right now. So just enough points to get these abilities unlocked. Max out on AoE. 1 point towards the burn chance off weapon hit. I would love to be able to bring this Infernal Beam, but I don't have enough ability slots to be able to do that. So instead, everything else will go in towards fire, just to give more burn chance and power to myself. And then just for safekeepings, I'm going to just max these as well. Or reset these, rather. Do the 3 seconds, and then everything else in the healing. There. Alright. And take a peek back here. I've gotten very lucky before. I found an ebb back in this section not too long ago. I can't remember exactly where. But again, that's another tier 4, so relatively tough to find alluvial. And then in terms of spawn points, I have no idea where anything spawns in this map. It seems to be behaving itself right now, but normally this map is very, very hard on my PC. We have an alluvial back here. What do we have? It's a lynx! I absolutely would love a lynx. Oh, if we can get maybe a virtuous Hydra lynx or something like that, that would absolutely make my day, but we've got to actually take this thing down first. Heal, potentially. Riptor's being focused. I don't even see the links, to be completely honest with you. Or I don't see the Illuvials at all right now. There is a good chance that this is just my computer being a potato. But let's see what we can get. Another heal. I do have a tier 2 shard, but as we can see, it's still a relatively tough chance to try and get this thing. In fact, I just died right before I even got the chance to shoot. Damn, that's rough. Yeah, personally, I'd like to see a penalty for resetting skills when the game is working properly, maybe, because right now, the reason why I have to reset my skills is because if I do not, even if I have this completely maxed out, where I'm doing 22 damage per second, the game will treat it like I have only 1 point into it, which would then be a 4 damage per second. And then do that with the heal here as well. So that's why I have to keep resetting. It's not because I'm trying to do different things for different situations. I'm just doing it to try and get out of a bug. Now, JB, good to see ya. I'm hunting for water alluvials, so if you want to come on through, you're more than welcome to, but I'm not doing dungeons or anything like that right now. Just a heads up. I mean, you've been here since the start. You know what's going on. Yeah, because I am not sure where any spawns are. If you'd like to point me in a direction of certain spawns, you're more than welcome to. But otherwise, I'm just kind of exploring, trying to see what I can find. Go from there. I thought I saw something out in the water, but it does not seem to be the case. And this area looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Are we allowed to go in here? Oh, we can actually. Yeah, I've never been here before. Okay, so this is as far as you go, which is probably a good thing. This area right here just screams to me like big Leviathan coming to eat me alive if I get too close. That's pretty cool. Potential boss room or something, maybe sometime down the line. Yeah, I do not know where any of these spawn locations are. And while it is good, the fact that this area is wide open so I can see far, the problem I have is with all of the water and the alluvial circle that shows you where the alluvial is. Tends to be like a purplish, bluish kind of thing as well. Yeah, get over here into the grass side of things, and maybe it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, we got something up here finally. It looks like an Atipo, a lesser nature Atipo, so we'll let it go. Trying to see if there's anything down there potentially. Doesn't look like it. Lot of open area. I'm not finding any spawns right now. I don't see anything. That plant looks like a hand. That's kind of funny. Anything over here by chance? Nothing here. This way, maybe? Don't think there are very many spawns. It definitely feels that way. I get another chance at maybe getting this Lynx. Died on the first try. Love to get a gimme, get a do-over. Good timing on the heels. Tier 2 shard in hand. I'm trying to let Caribou tank. I see they've got their taunt ready. Beautiful. Alright, I will throw that out. There's the heal from JB. Not gonna get this just yet. My turn for a heal. Is there any chance that we can get this dang thing? One more try. 33% right as it was about to die. It will go, and this Lynx is going to disappear on me again. Stubborn little bugger. Quickly let the Caribou heal up a little bit as well. Of course, once you level up a Caribou, it has a ton of health too, so it's a very, very strong tank still, even as tier 1. Here, catching up on chat for a second here. Yeah, but that was a ship that crashed in terms of the storyline. I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to there, Reem. What nostalgia about Overworld when you see me playing Obelisk Rising. I know, I feel it too. Is this another Lynx? Okay, we're gonna have another shot at this. Level 37, this is absolutely catchable. Right, as soon as Caribou's got that taunt up, we should be safe. Trying to be very careful beforehand. Heal for everybody. Now again, the Lynx itself, it might just be normal or a plain type. It's not actually a water type. But for those that don't know, Lynxes are basically like Illuvium's form of Eevees, where you can choose which pathway, which evolution line you want them to go down. And not just in terms of their type, but what kind of class or what kind of role they fill. So water fighter, water empath, water scion, does not matter. There are many ways that we can do this. I'm going to try and burst it down just a little bit more. We'll have one more try once again, or this Lynx is going to cook us. We finally get the Lynx. That is going to be our second Lynx, and that one was hollow. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. It might not show up, but there we go. Level 37, hollowed out Lynx. An absolute beauty. Thank you, JB, for the assist. If there's anything in particular you are looking for or need assistance with, please do let me know as well. Now, one more Lynx would mean that we would be set for the middle stage evolution. But it would still take a lot in order to get to the final stage. You're just running around? Alright, sounds good. But that's what's the beautiful thing about this game, even as it stands already. if we thought nothing more about the game than just overworlds with multiplayer, that alone already sells me on it. Which, again, I'm biased. I've been around for a little while. Like, obviously, I'm into Illuvium. And take that as you will. But if this was just treated specifically as overworld with multiplayer, I'm already super excited about it. The dungeons, awesome. Raid, awesome. Questing, needs some work. But again, that's what the playtest is for, right? Did I just lure a bunch of things into JB and then just leave them? Okay, let's come in for the assist. Like, it's nice being able to work with JB in this instance, or work with Kirito, whomever it is that I happen to be, like, playing around. Bacon was there earlier, wanted to, like, link up and do, I think it was dungeon runs or something together. Like, that's sick. The fact that that's possible already has me so damn excited for when this is actually out. Let's see. One more links. Or potentially some water evolutions. That's what I'm thinking about. I mean, in terms of rare water alluvials, if we're thinking of a tier 3, I've already got the Riptor. I would just be looking for a potential evolution there. Flappin is still eluding us. While I do have one still from my playthrough, I'd like to be able to have caught everything in this stream. And if I do manage to find one more penguin, then that opens the door up to potentially getting stabbing. Cave, I believe, has absolutely nothing in regards to spawns, so I'm going to run up into this wildlife area here. So far. And before I go, okay, we're in the 50s here. Sheesh. Lynx, retreat. You take like one hit from these guys, and I imagine you'll probably drop. Yeah, even old overworld, I definitely missed it. I love the stream rotation that I used to be able to do, where I can have, say, 1 day of stream on overworld, 1 day of stream on arena. Heck, way back then, 1 day of, or like a start of a stream was even on 0. Like, say, first hour of overworld, second hour arena. I miss doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's going to be a Grocco. We're going to avoid this guy. It's going to take way too damn long to actually kill, even if there is 2 of us. Finally, the levels get a little bit lower here, a little bit more manageable. Now, that is just an endless mob, so that's not actually an alluvial area. Now, JB, if you're still listening in, I have a question for you. What do you think I should do? Should I continue to try and look around here, even though I don't know where I'm going, per se? Or not where I'm going, but where the spawns are? Or should I potentially try Taiga or Brightland again? What do you think? Because as much as I love the new change of scenery, the fact that I'm having a hard time finding Illuvials is making this tough. But I believe Abyssal is also the only place that you can get lynxes. I've never seen one in any of the other regions. Finding more water on Brightland. Let's go back then. Now, if you abruptly teleport, my apologies. Because we are partied up, you might get zipped in there with me. Okay, it's just travel. Okay, it's going to end up actually removing me from the party temporarily. Gladly link up again with you, though, if you'd like. Alright, Brightlands, we'll try this again. Now let's pause a second here. Yeah, because up in this right-hand side, it was actually pretty decent. We did see a lot of atlases. But I remember also down towards the south, again, that's where we found the Axodon before. It was a bit of a rarer spawn, but it was possible. And maybe we take a look. And then this Exalted Doka we found here was really cool, too. Definitely sad that one didn't work out. There is an Atlas. We will kill this one. We've got 3 already. But actually, hang on. Was that hollow? It glowed at me as if it was hollow for just a second. He'll be there in a second. Sounds good. Got a bug? Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, it's not shining like it was hollow anymore, so I'm going to try and get this one taken down for the sake of a shard. Or not a shard, a gem. Riptor survives, Riptor survives. There we go. And, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, if there does end up being a patch for the playtest, this is my #1 hope of something that gets fixed. Because, yeah, doing this every single time I teleport is infuriating. Yeah, see, now our heal actually heals. But again, that's what the playtest is for. Discovering things like this. Okay, I went up the hill that time, or that way the first time. Let's go up the hill this way. There is an area up here that does spawn 2 Illuvials at once. We're about to get server problems again, it looks like. The arrow, or not the arrow, error 401. So if anybody's trying to log back on, please do be careful. Yep, that's what I was just worried about. Yeah, it's not just you, I think, here, JB. I just got the exact same server issue. As long as I stay here, it's doable. But unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna be stuck without you for a bit. Okay, we're gonna get Atlas to tank for us here for this fight, because this is a much scarier one. Level 36 onto this Valente, so it's a rather tough one at that. Yeah, I hate to see that end up being a thing, but I believe you're correct here, JB, yeah. Yeah, so the IMX servers just in general are absolutely crap in the bed this entire day. On and off, on and off, on and off. And again, that's not something Illuvium controls. It's just IMX. When we save our Atlas in time, right as the spinner comes through, we do save it. And yep, there's the error that I was talking about. At least what we did discover from today's stream, as long as you stay in the area, you are okay to keep going. Your progress does save. Just you cannot change regions. So that may be a little bit annoying, or that might be annoying towards the end of the stream if I was trying to... excuse me. Come on, Rota. This thing is killing me here. Riptor, you gonna do any damage, bud? And just end up letting it fall. Damn, okay. Yeah, we'll look in a second. Trying to top off at least a little bit of health. And then we'll go back up this way. Yeah, over on the far east here, this is where that camp was that you might have seen in the previous playtest. That is still a thing. It is still over here. But there's nothing for me to particularly do in this instance. Top you off. Scroll through, get some heals on everybody. Okay. I don't think I've ever checked down here. See if there's any Illuvials. There's a Rota, but that's about it. I do believe there is an escape way just over this way. We've got a solid little team so far. Is there anything else we could find? It's just over this way. Again, we know the Axodon can appear. That's a big one that I would absolutely love to see. I see a paw print. What is over here? Is it just a Rota? Fireflish. Let's quickly take it out so that we can reset the spawn. Hopefully these Beyblades don't just shred me down too badly. Hang in there, Riptor. There we go. Another gem. And we will lose Riptor for about a minute. Okay. Where are you at, buddy? Yes, Axodon, those would be huge. I've never seen a Caradulo. I know it's not water. But I feel like we have to try. The only person that I saw grab a Jokel or even a Tier 4 Stage 2 was Drac on their stream Friday. There's a chance I think JB might have the middle stage Mammoth. I can't remember, but we're going to at least try. I'm not going to use Tier 2s for this. I don't have many, but I do have Tier 1s. We're at a 0% chance, or 0.8 So you're saying there's a chance. Give me a 1%. 1% chance. If we could score the Jokel, that would be incredible. Not off this one. I technically should not be able to get this right now. I am on the verge of dying, so we're going to fire off the shard immediately. Get the heal back going. 0.9%. 0.6%. Essentially no chance in hell, but they give you the chance to try. And that pulse is just doing so much damage. We'll try one more time right before it kills me. Then I'm just going to run. We can't kill it. Yeah. Would have been cool, but the chances were definitely slim. You have the stage 1 mammoth. Okay, thank you, JB. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. That was cool. And you did catch a Revo as well. That's sick. Alright, Flish. So many greater Fire Flish. I just need greater water. Something greater water would be huge right now. Yeah, so much fire. I should have killed off these things the first time. There's JB. Glad the server finally let you in. Forgive me if my zipping around makes it hard to actually target me for anything. If you want that, go ahead. That's a holo, I think. There we go. Knock it down a little bit. Five. There you go. More heals for backup. There we go. That, in theory, should be like a level 35 Hollow Fire Flish, unless it was a visual bug. Hopefully that was a holo. Then we have another Fire Illuvial, I think, just down here. A greater Fire Flish. Second one in a small area. It is a holo. Let's go, JB. There we go, another fire gem. Yeah, so whenever I do this challenge, but in the fire version, I know first and foremost, I'm going to Taiga, and then I'm coming here, and I will have so many tier 0 fire shards, it's not even funny. These guys are everywhere, and I've caught so many. Or not caught, but received so many fire shards. Gems, same thing. You know what I mean. There's the Flish, level 36. Let's go. Considering at the moment the max level that you can have your Illuvials at is like 39, 40. Something like that's awesome. I'm curious how the fusion works when it comes to a holo. If it's still the same idea as before, where if you have one holo, but then two non-holos, does it make it so that the chance of the Flish evolving and keeping its holo only stays as a 33% chance? There's another one. Gems are dropping like crazy. I wonder if there's an increased chance on evolved forms dropping fragments. I've got about 5 minutes left to go before we'll call things here. I'm going to try to go back to Sanctum Mesa afterwards and see if it will let me try to fuse up one of my tier 0s. If the servers stop me, then we might be out of luck. JB, do you got one of these already? Got a Vermilia over here. Second time I've ever seen one of these. If you need it, catch it. You can go first. It'll just be a bonus if it ends up being for me. Alright, they're going for it. About a 16% chance onto it. Not this time. Whoa, little leg spike, one more try. Vermilia, the Anteater. Can we snag it? Not quite. That was close. Good try. Again, tier 3 onto that one. Oh, there's the Mammoth. Yeah, Vermilia, the tier 3 would 100% be a difficult catch. Especially since most of us are still with tier 2 shards at most. Gonna peek up here one more time. See if it's level 40 plus. 54. Man. If it was only lower level. Yeah, because you can't catch anything over 39 right now, unfortunately. Anything here? What's up here? Is this just the Fireflish again? I think it's the same one I saw earlier. I just forgot to kill it. Yeah, absolutely shred that guy. And yeah, there's another gem. Take a peek at this area one more time. We do have a mule. Okay, I'll be there about 10 minutes. Alright. Here. I was going to say before we pull. We do have the bear. Debating whether or not. Just going to maybe throw the one shard at it. You're both getting gems. Very interesting. Alright, gonna knock it right down to about 68. It's gonna fire off a tier 2. Or not 68, 6.8. I know it is not water, but could close us off for an awesome moment here if we could finish this with a polar bear. Just for the sake of the playthrough. Oh, I had a leg spike, I think, right as I went to go hit Q. That might have been a skill issue. We'll see. It wouldn't be me if I didn't kill it. Whoopsie. Alright, last spot. Lesser Fireflish. And last but not least, Lesser Fire. Lesser Fire. Yeah, just fire all over the place here. Damn. Okay, well, I'm going to give it a shot to try and see if I can get back to Sanctum Mesa, but when I see that error code, the unauthorized code, I think it is probably going to block me one more time here today. Servers on the IMX side have just not been cooperating at all. But yes, thank you, JB, so much for the help. GG's. And if there's anything that I can help you with at some point in the future, please do not be afraid to ask. Yeah, fire all over the place. If only we got that Exalted Doka, that would have been pretty sick too. And yep, it will end up denying me. So to conclude, we had 2 hours to try and build the best water team we could potentially get. And what we ended up getting is this team right here. In terms of holo count, we got the 4. There's the Caribou, the Flish, the Lynx, which is probably our rarest of the holos. We got the Chuko, and there were a couple more of the lesser Fire Flishes that were holo as well that we just killed off. So, in terms of rarity, that is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. If I was strictly trying to do a water build, which is exactly what I'm doing, this Lynx would evolve into either a Scion or a Fighter Lynx, in my opinion. So either the Relentless Hydro Lynx or the Arcane Hydro Lynx, maybe even the Virtuous. That'd be a cool one. But since it's just a baby Lynx, I'm not going to necessarily count it. Which means the next thing that we would probably add on to the team would be a Water Valente. And this would be the squad that we're going to run with. In terms of levels, what I'm going to do off stream is get into my favorite grinding spot and get everybody up to, say, level 30. And then on Thursday's stream, we will be doing some dungeon runs, maybe even some raids. We'll see. Dungeons is going to be the big thing, because my goal at the end of it is to be able to try and treat it like you would the Mythic Dungeon Invitational, which is, of course, World of Warcraft's PvE esports side of things that they have attached to their game. So I want to kind of treat it very similarly in nature. And I'd love to be able to see what maybe the fastest time I can get through a dungeon, or say a full completion, or maybe just the fastest possible completion. We'll see about the exact terms of the dungeon run a little bit later. But I want to take that team, and I want to see how fast we can go through it. That's going to be the main goal. How much can we cheese? How much can we just outburst? What are some good builds potentially? You kind of saw me experimenting it with a build right in this stream, where it was my Steam, this AoE build. I imagine in a top level competition, or at least in World of Warcraft, your main goal was always to get everything into a group and just AoE it down. I wonder if we could do something similar here in Obelisk Rising and maybe kind of get thinking into the mindset of somebody who's doing these dungeon speedruns, or the potential for what an Obelisk Rising esports build could look like. Because it's me. Of course, before I hopped into the Illuvium side of things, again, I've done esports broadcasting and commentating for over a decade at this point. And I always want to see the competition side of things. I want to see what the potential esports side of things can be. And of course, as somebody who hosts their own events, like, how would I do it? How could I potentially do it? How would I stream it? And just get those gears turning. So that way, when this game does finally launch, regardless of if Illuvium wants to do anything esports-wise, like community-wise, I can think of something and get something going. It'd be awesome, though, if the Illuvium side of things were hosting things themselves, though. Don't get me wrong. Of course, this is not the last stream here of the week. We're just getting started. Tomorrow we will be back into the Illuvium Arena. It's the final week, this week rather. It'll be the final stream rather, before the end of season reset. In theory, at the end of this week on Thursday, the 27th, that is the final Thursday of August. So there should, in theory, be a ranked reset. And I'm barely in the top 40 as of this moment. So I want to try and get one final push before the rank reset comes on through. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Of course, on Wednesday, we do have Illuvium community news and highlights through this week in Illuvium, while also having the House League prize openings happening on that stream as well at the very end. So plenty to talk about and plenty of excitement coming on through in that stream too. Thursday will be what I was talking about before, where we're going to do the dungeon run with this water team, see how it goes. And then on Friday, of course, will be Illuvium Arena House League. The registration form for House League is currently in the description of this video on the YouTube side of things, so you can get registered already if you'd like to. Again, there's two ways to do it. If you want ownership off and you don't have to worry about the levels or which Illuvials you own or what their stats are, hop into the Caribou Cup where everything is a completely even playing field. You just have to worry about what team or what kind of composition you want to run in the moment. You don't have to worry about anything else. Of course, then for those that do have their own team and are ready to rock and showcase it, that of course is what the Monarch Masters is for. So the two divisions, and with the Monarch Masters being more of a difficult division because of the Illuvials levels and stats, those prizes tend to be a little bit bigger as well. So something to keep in mind as we're going into House League. And then we'll see where it goes from there. I'm still very, very excited. I'm still having a ton of fun with Obelisk Rising. And this is just playtest. There's still plenty more, many more fixes, many more features. There's still a lot to go here. And big thank you, of course, to Illuvium themselves for even having me on board here with this playtest and letting not just myself, but anybody who happens to be a part of the playtest be able to stream the game, showing how awesome it is, and while also at the same time being able to use the stream as a bit of a bug catcher of sorts, and just make it as good as possible for whenever December rolls around and it's time to fully release this thing. It'll be for a great time. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And last but not least, big thank you to all of you for tuning in. It's a pleasure being able to do this week in, week out, and as long as I'm having fun, I'll keep doing it. So until tomorrow, when of course we're back with some Illuvium Arena, I'll talk to you then. Good luck on your matches, good luck on your training. See you tomorrow.